What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's the deal? Let me actually turn my camera on so y'all can see me. There we go. I'm like tired a little bit. Tired, but I ain't tired. All right. What's going on, y'all? But like, I don't know why I feel like it's been like such a long weekend. Not complaining at all. Definitely not complaining at all. We got another fire week ahead of us. So it's like the weekend was well needed. I feel like I talk about this all the time. Like every weekend, what do we always talk about? We always talk about how we want to see let me see. We recover over the weekends, we chilling, we relaxing, and then once the new week start, we back at it. Another week, another results. Only thing, once I get ready to go into like the news and stuff like that, y'all will see um what we have in store this week. This week gonna be a little bit different. Very, very I'm expecting to be kind of like slow. More so during New York session. Now, the good news for that is, let me turn my brightness up. My fault. I had it all dark in here. My fault. Let me see. I don't feel like that. We can go super duper bright. But the good news is, right? Um, we trade Tokyo session and we trade London session now. So it's like don't even gotta worry about New York. We can just focus on those two sessions and still be good. But I'm gonna get ready to, and then even I guess today's call shouldn't really be too long. Should be pretty simple. Ouch. I'm gonna let a couple more people hop on, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. Whew. How's everybody weekend though? Dang, I should let me know. Anybody do any back testing? Or did you just chill? Look, I know some people are like, man, this football weekend was on fire between college football and then even today we got what? The actual NFL football going on. Me, it was short though. What I do Friday? Friday, I can't remember what I did. Saturday, yesterday, my cousin went to one of his college football games. He did his thing, got a full touchdown, got a kick return, ran that jump all the way back. I didn't near dang, because we on live, I can't really show you. But I can show you. I gotta find a clip. He went crazy. You know what I mean? And then I just did this backwards. I think I did right there. Today, just for the most part, just chilled all day, just getting everything in order, like doing my updates, creating my schedules for everything I'm trying to get going. Test them back real quick. And we can go again and get started. All right. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So look, first off, how we always started the same way, Forest Factory. As you can see, I'm like, oh, this week gonna really be slow. Not a lot of stuff going on. No news Monday, no news Tuesday. And I did this specifically for the US, right? So let me see. get rid of GBP. I'm gonna just show you just strictly just US when we talk about trading our indices, our NAS, our US 30, SPS 500, whatever you're trading. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no news. So do not be surprised when you come and look at the charts. I haven't even looked at the charts. It's just Friday. If there is a like a slow period, like if the market is moving slow, if it's not really moving as fast as normal, that is just because there isn't no US news coming out. Now, on the plus side, if you're trading pairs like gold, if you're trading currencies, or if you have a clear sense of the direction that you want to trade in for the week, it can be like a calm week. We're looking for like a swing trade setup or just like a more so one direction type of move. Not necessarily a week where you'll see buy opportunities, sell opportunities within the same day, right? So that's kind of like my other thought process. I'm not gonna really be looking for 2 to 3 trades, right? Or 2 to 3 main setups. So like there might be some weeks, some days where I would have caught this sell, then I would look for the buys, catching back for the reversals. Going into the week, it'll be more so, or going into Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, it will be more so if I'm thinking the market is gonna sell, I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna take my sell entry and then I'm gonna hold till it hits my TP. And then after that, I'm not looking for trade idea number 2 or trade idea number 3. I'm staying disciplined with 1 or 2 main moves if I do take a trade during New York, right? The news isn't really coming until Thursday. You got existing home sales of 10. And then Friday, we have core CPI. So when I talk about me trading New York session, um, I'm not going to rush any setups that's not there. And also, if I really was like, I don't want to trade at all for the week, I would absolutely just wait until Thursday. Wait till Thursday, wait till Friday, then I actually execute and get into the markets. Right? If it's not Thursday, if it's not Friday, no need to trade during New York. Right? And I'll specify that just because I know New York is predominantly what majority of everybody that's following me, or excuse me, what I originally taught was during New York session. But if you're trading during London and Tokyo, there used to be a period, and you're gonna see it probably this week too, where moves that we look for during New York happens during Tokyo session. And it's taking off for 1,200 pip moves, 2,000 pip moves during Tokyo, instead of actually just taking off of those trade ideas during New York, right? So, what I'm looking for this week is really gonna be a couple of things. Hold on 1 second, y'all. My cat up here. About to cook her. Who got the way, man? What I'm looking for this week, I would probably say a couple things. So overall, what did we see happen last week? Well, rewind. Thursday, beautiful sell-offs. Did its thing during London session. Here we go. So when I tell y'all the main moves I want to see happen during Tokyo and London, here's a perfect example of that. Full retest back to the area that it went on Tuesday. Also, it went to go close that gap again. So it's no brainer that this was the area that played as the price correction to take off for the buys, right? That's what caused this big old move and why Nas took off for the buys right here. Now, on the flip, when we come to the 1 hour, we saw we had a cross right there. When we come to the 4 hour, we see we have a cross right here. So what I want to see this week, here we are again, my main overall analysis that I want to look for is, I don't know when, I don't know how, but I do want to see a full retest back to the highs. If it ends up going for new highs, great. Don't care. For now, I know I do want to look for full retest back to the highs just off the strength of this 4 hour cross. Higher time frames, the bigger the moves, right? So I want to see a push up into here, and then I wouldn't be surprised if we saw sales for the rest of the week, right? So when we talk about, okay, if that is your theory, what are we looking for tonight then? So I'm gonna give y'all a setup for the night. I'm trying to think, like, I think this like another week I've been like 5 for 5 or 6 for 6. I gotta go back and look from every Sunday, but I've been going crazy with my Sunday analysis for y'all. So here, as you can see, we got a gap. Can retest, but the actual close of the gap will be somewhat here. Since it is close, I'm expecting it to get closed for once. There are times though where Nas doesn't come to close this gap, but instead it takes off for buys. As y'all know, like literally, last week market did exactly that. Let me see if I can rewind. So literally, it gapped on Sunday. Didn't come back Sunday night. Instead, it took off for buys, as it always does. Came all the way to the buys from Monday, Tokyo. Then from Monday, Tokyo, that's when we finally saw the full retest to close the gap. Right? So now on last Sunday, which will be retested this zone right here. So if it come, really, I will be taking buys like as soon as it come up in here, but a more safer trade will be here. This will be a buy area that I look to take buys at. Stop loss will be under the zone here. And then TP, like I said, where's my target that I said I want to take it to? Excuse me. It will be right back to the highs. So 25,180 will be like that area of interest that I'm looking for. And then of course, as well, I guess I can play like devil's advocate. Before we get to this point, so this is more of my swing trade type of vibe. Before we get to this point, obviously, where are we at? We're at a resistance structure. So if we take these buys, keep in mind that it has to close above this lower higher area right here before we can even think to hold it to 25,180. Even though I know overall higher time frame, this is what I want to see, I am still going to show respect to this resistance level just in case it hits here and then take off for the sales. So for me personally, this will be my TP1 and then this will be my TP2. So for TP1, we talking about, I'm bringing it like right here. We're talking 800 pips. And then for TP2, if it does decide to go all the way back up to the top, which is what I want to see. And you know what I'm going to do? We're going to bring this TP down just a tad bit. So that's still 2,400 pips for Nas. Still a clean move for the buys. So this is my main trade that I want to see for tonight, as well as going into tomorrow as well. And then once it gets up here, obviously we could talk about looking for sales setups. Take sales, back down to previous support structures, and so on and so on. Now, this is just one setup. So this is just the buys if it closes back above the zone. If it decides to say, hey, skip what you're talking about, overall, when we look at the 4-hour, we just been in the zone, right? So this is the high, this is the low. From a forward scale, what we saw these last previous weeks, every time it came to the high, it sold off. Every time it came to the support, it took off for buys. High, retest, back to that previous zone, took off for buys. So really, overall, we could just look at this as a big old sideways market if we want until it actually breaks out, right? So if it does indeed decide to do, instead of breaking out this zone and go for the buys, if it does come below, I think my main sell entry, I wouldn't mind doing it right here, but it's kind of close. I'm gonna make it like, let me drop it down to the 15. Hey, that's cool. So this is higher low, double bottom, higher low. Went to go retest the resistance. The moment it starts to close under this zone, under this previous higher low structure, that's our indication that the market is starting to reverse and go for the sales. And we will officially start having a lower high and lower low form on the charts. So for me, if it doesn't take off for the buys and then indeed takes off for the sales, that's going to be our sell entry. Stop loss is going to be a little bit tighter. All right. And then we're going to be looking for something like, let me show you that shape. It should be, actually, excuse me. Shout out to Mo, you put me up to this. It should be something like a break, a retest to the stop loss area. There should be like a lower high that's forming. And then there should be that continuation for the breakout. This is when you want to enter, right? Let me escape that. We want to enter, not here, but we want to wait for the retest. And then we enter once the manipulation comes in to the downside. Perfect example would be something exactly like this. So as you can see here, it extended. We don't enter off of here. We wait for the retest or the pullback. And then once it comes back down to this area again, that's when we take the trade. So like in this scenario, it would have been like right around over in this area where it actually broke and made its way off for the sales. So that way you're not getting caught in a pullback. That way you're not getting caught in consolidation. That way the market is just going and doing its thing, right? So that's what I'm looking for over here on Nas. And then if it does decide to respect the zone and do its thing, all we're gonna do I gave you all the sauce for the fibs already, so I can show y'all this again. TP1 will be at the 61, and then TP2 will be at the 78. Voila. And this is gonna be like my main two first trades I'm gonna look to take for the week. So I gave you all the buy setup for Nas off of the break if it takes off and go for higher lows, and then this would be the sell setup for if it decides to close back inside the zone and continue for the downtrend again. All right, that looks solid. That's pretty like literally straightforward. Even if I wasn't even focused on this sell setup right here, the only other third option would be, which is how I used to trade in the past. If I delete everything one more time. And then for those that are just not joining, start the live from the beginning to get the earlier trade ideas and the earlier setups. Or just wait till the call in and then just watch the video back and forth. But if it was old Abe and how I used to trade just off of zone to zone, I would be waiting for buys down here, and then I'll be waiting for sales up here. So if I was like, oh, what is a trade of the week? What is the main move? If I can catch one trade for the week, what would it be? It would be resistance sell-offs, right? So it'll be, I don't care how long it take. I would just wait for this for the whole week. Boom. As soon as you give me the manipulation down, I'm in the sales. And it should look something exactly like this. And then same setup. And then vice versa. I'm my voice just scrap. If it goes to the buys, I'm going to be waiting for my buys to come back to either that 61 or 78 we talked about, or just essentially back down to the zone. If you come back down to the zone, this will be the cleanest buy setup that I'll look to take. I keep it very simple. I try not to do too much when I focus on like my main swing setups, or just like what is the cleanest setups for the week I can look for. Instead of me focusing on day trading, cleanest setup for the week would be, watch out, shadow. Cleanest setup for the week would be off this bottom support and then off the resistance structure at the top, right? So that's the main two. And then I want to say for US 30, and let me know if I'm like going too fast or if y'all got any questions, just stop me. US 30 is dang near the same thing, except you can kind of tell that this is like perfect for the lower high levels. Let me see. It's like on a 1 hour time frame, what do we see? We have a resistance, we have another lower high, we have another lower high right there, right? So when you're looking at it, it ain't actually looking at this even crazier. I don't know how I didn't notice this last week. This is a whole head and shoulders pattern. Literally. Left, I don't know why I just did it like that, but left shoulder, pull back, head, there you go. Right shoulder, continuation for the drop. Like this setup for the sales was actually fire. Hey, yo, that's crazy now I'm looking at it. Hey, yo, that was actually crazy. Ooh, Academy members. I got something I wanna I'm gonna do like it's gonna be like a wealthy talk, so I'm gonna do something like that. I got something I'm gonna talk about US 32 that I think y'all would like. That's gonna be fire. But focus A for this week. What am I looking for? So same thing. Only thing is this one looks more cleaner to continue with the downtrend compared to the other one. So here, if I draw my fibs from top to bottom, we're right in my 61, right? We're right in my 61, we're right in the 78, right? If it closes under, boom, simple as that. I'm taking sales, right? So it'll be sell entry down here. Stop loss will be essentially where it's at right here, where it got that. Boom. And then TP1. And then TP2. Simple as that. First trade, this for sure probably more than 1,200 pips. So the first trade, 2,000 pips. Usually I always go for like 120 points to 200 pips. But then if this would be like my main move, I'm swing trading. And then if not this, we'll swing back to 6,000 pips. But once again, day trading wise, there's no news. So we're going to be paying attention. We're looking for more so of a swing trade type of week, or we're not going to be like looking for like buys and sells. It's going to be like one way. If it break, I'm gonna look to hold back down to here. And if it continues to break or continues the momentum starts slowing down, it's not creating higher highs and higher lows, great. I'm gonna be staying bearish and looking for sales. If it retests this TP and starts bouncing off of this for buys and creating higher lows, then I'll be willing to look for buys. But it really just comes down to like how the market is moving. And then also where we're at in Tokyo. Because Tokyo, it could align perfectly with that, and I would happily take buys down here for US 30. But for tonight, let's say this is in sync with NAS 100 and that they're both have to do the exact same thing. After I get this close of the gap, so this one's obviously already getting ready to close, but I'm expecting like the higher low to either form here or somewhere like right here, maybe, I guess. If not, right, so let me see. If this is my zone, from right here to right here, all I want us to look out for is a buy entry like right around here. So it should be a retest. This will play as the mini support level for the night. And then we're going to see US 30 take off for the buys. And then first TP target will just be back to the high where the open happened at, of course. And then as it break, I want us to see if we can get a manipulation back up into this area. All right, back up into this like a price grab area. And then from here, same thing I talked about earlier as far as if we know overall we kind of like want to look for the bearish sales. This aligns because it's right on our 78. That'd be like a sweet spot entry to take sales setups. So for buys, retest to the support. As it starts to close, it gives like a bullish engulfing just like this. Boom, we take buys here. TP1, 900 pips. TP2, 1800. I don't want you being greedy, like, what if it just keep going up here? Don't worry about all that right now. Just take profit at 2,000 pips or 1,800 pips, whatever your TP is, in this range, and you're good. Don't get greedy, because it might mess around and just not go. If it do, great. But if it don't, then you're going to be like, man, I should have just took profit earlier. And you're going to come back to this live, and you're like, you know what? He absolutely said that, and I didn't listen to him. So that's going to be the buy setup. Stop loss can be a little bit tighter. It don't need to be that tight. It can be like somewhere around here. If you want to let it push out of here first, and then once it comes back inside, you take the buys. That's another great way to trade it. I actually talk about that in the excuse me, in the Art of the Sniper book. But at the same time as well, what was I about to say? Oh, that not. I don't know why I started talking like that. This will be the buy setup. Fake breakout, come back inside the zone, take buy setup, boom, stop loss right there. TP1, TP2. When it's time to look for the sales, it's gonna be two ways that you can decide on how you want to take this trade. Option one will be, which is more aggressive. You have a sell limit right here, right at this area where you can clearly see that there's a lot of sales and liquidity going on right at this resistance structure. It was fighting for the buyers and the sellers. You can take sales right up in here. Even like it could be like a retest up here. And then the moment it closes back under here, you look for the sell setups. So it'll be like here. Stop loss will be right above this high, previous lower high. And then TP1 will be right back at this support. And then TP2 will be still right back at this lower high structure. I mean, higher low structure. Sorry, right here. And then when we talk about stop loss, that's a steep stop loss. So you might want to bring it down depending on your risk management. So it could be tighter. And then actually, I'm glad I just thought about that. For people that always ask me like, oh, like how much do you risk per trade? Like what show, like how you know when to stop loss. So when I first enter a trade, my stop loss is a lot bigger, or like I have like a bigger like mental stop loss where I'm like, okay, cool. I understand that the lower high structure is up here. I'm gonna let the trade breathe. As it starts to go in the direction that I go in, for me, this isn't to sound like cocky or brag. Usually, when when I enter a trade within the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'm in profit. And usually, when I'm correct in the direction, which is very consistent, right? So usually, when I'm correct in the direction, there's no reason the market is coming back near my stop loss or should even be back towards my entry for at least maybe one or two more candles. After one or two candles, I should be deep in profit and I should be smooth. That's always my thought process. So with that being said, if I might start my stop loss out when I first in the trade, I might have it up here just to let the trade breathe. As it starts to get into the move, then I go ahead and tighten my stop loss till I can get to the point to where it's like break even, or obviously when I'm setting trailing. Let me see if I can run like a scenario real quick. just to give you like a quick example. So like over here, for example, let's say this is where I enter for my sales, right? And I'm talking about, let's say I enter literally, I see this bullish candlestick, but I'm really believing in the sales for whatever reason. I'm selling right here. My hard stop loss is really gonna be, it could be above here, but really I would want it. My hard mental stop loss would be like right above this main high, or right into this high, just in case. Cause I'm like, all right, if you're sticking with the downtrend, this should be the highest point. This should be pulling back as a lower high. And if I drag the fibs, let me see. This is right on the 61, right? So as it takes off, my entry is right here. It takes off, I'm deep in profit. So there's no reason why would I still have my risk all the way up here. That would just be silly of me, because no way I'm turning a winning trade into a losing one. So one, stop loss isn't going to be that steep. It's either going to be much tighter to where I'm only risking probably like 150, 250, or the stop loss is going to be in profit, right? Break even, or as it starts to float like this, well, at this point, TP1 and TP2 would smash. But furthest I'll always have it, it won't always be at the original stop loss. It would just be tighter or at break even, right? So that was kind of like the moral of that breakdown and the whole replay. Now fast forward to where we are now. So first sell entry will be, if you're more riskier, you can enter right off that lower high. Stop loss will be, I'll bring it down though. Right here, as it starts to take off and do its thing, you scale down, right? TP1 and TP2. Now the second trade, a trade out that I would like to say like, oh, this is my main entry. This is what I'm looking for. Right over here, me on. This is like, for me, my second trade, the main trade. I'm like, okay, this is the more safer, the more higher probability, because I'm following the rules and da 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 da. Will be once it really closes outside of the zone. So let's say it pushes up in here. We can clearly see the sales are coming, but I'm like, I don't want to take this trade yet. This goes back to what I was talking about earlier, where if it comes out the zone, this is that second sell setup that I'll take. Because that'll be like, we already got our confirmations, we already got our lower highs, and so on and so on. This would be like, okay, this is the break. This is the famous zone breakout strategy that made me go like 95% accuracy, 95 to 100% accuracy back when I was calling my signal shot, right? At TP1, that's crazy. Smack 1,200 pips. TP2, 2,300 pips. TP3, if it keep going, boom, 45, 500, and so on and so on. Stop loss still will be above the zone. Yes, you can have a tighter one depending on like if you're day trading, right? Your stop loss will probably be like way more tighter, but as you can see, tighter stop loss, you might have a higher probability of getting whipped out before the trade actually goes in a direction that you want it to go into. So I would just suggest leaving it above the zone, leaving it above the zone, or just above the zone, or once it gets in profit and breaks and goes, now you're making your stop loss tighter, and you're just following the same rules that I just talked about earlier in the first breakdown, right? So that's my main two setups, man. First setup, gave y'all was on Nas. Second setup, US30. Academy members, I will be talking about Germany 40 later on. Well, I'll be giving y'all trade ideas on Germany 40 on your homepage later on this week. Because this fair don't even care about what we got going on in the US. This is literally Germany 40, right? So it don't even matter. So be on the lookout for that. I got y'all. Trying to see, do anybody? I don't see no questions. I swear, like every Sunday just really be smooth like butter. Oh, I don't see no questions. All right, man. What was I about to say? I'm thinking this week I might add on some calls during Tokyo, maybe during London. Just stay tuned for the calendar as it get updated on our homepage. For what, New York or Tokyo? Okay, yeah. For Tokyo, it'll be like after 9 p.m. After 9 is done, like we've already should have found our support and our resistance during that point. And then it's really like, cause I traded Nas to do in Tokyo. So for me, it's like, let me see if I can go to it. Mm, It's always, actually, I don't even need the charts. It's always like 9 to 10. That's my range. If I miss my entry, like if I miss the entry that I wanted, I'm already expecting it to come back during London, like 3 a.m. It always come back to my support, and I take the same setup again, and then it goes. Any more questions? I'm trying to think. Was there anything else? I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't think I'm missing nothing. Oh, yeah, I might trade gold this week with y'all too. If I bring Tokyo session in, it's gonna be gold and gold and NOS 100 gonna be the main two. It's only two I trade. It is, but it's not. No, it's not. 'Cause, Tokyo session start at 6. Right when the market open up, that's 6. I'll be waiting till like 2-3 hours later. Well, 3-4 hours later. I wait till like around 9 or 10. But London session, yeah, London session is the same as opening bell for sure. Cause later is like what is it, like 3:15, 3:30. Be right there around that time. See what's it. It's the first time we haven't seen it take off for real on Sunday like I usually do. Mm-mm. It's just as soon as the market back up, cause it closed for like an hour, and then it opens back up at 6. Unless I'm tripping. See. Yeah, it start okay. Yeah, so it started at 7. That's when Tokyo open. So yeah, I'll be what 2-3 hours, 2 hours. I wait 2 hours for the open, and then I take my trades. It's gonna be an interesting week for gold too. We already got our pullback, so I'm really just waiting to see if it's just about to play us our higher low again and just take off like it's been doing, or if it's gonna be one of the weeks where it just start acting like janky. And we're gonna be acting janky. When I say janky, it's when it started trending down, trending or going sideways. I wouldn't be surprised though. We've been having some fire buy opportunities on gold. If it push above here, maybe it might be a buy move. Man, literally peak timing, higher highs, higher lows. I've been preaching this since the beginning of the summertime. I was talking about that. I gotta go find my old posts. You know what I haven't? I need to give you an update on that Bitcoin trade. I just thought about that. I don't even know if my chart's still marked up over here. No, it's not. This is a setup I was looking at. We got our sweep. Now once it actually come back inside the zone, perfect buys. And originally, I think the first entry I gave y'all was right here. I need to go back to the metal shop, man. You close your gap. It's gonna be fire. I'm excited. I'm gonna do some trying to think. Maybe Thursday night. I might do it. I have to figure it out. I'll run a poll. Actually, I'm gonna run a poll. I'm gonna see. Tomorrow, be on the lookout. I'm gonna run a poll on IG. And we're gonna see what day y'all want me to do like a Tokyo session call. Let me know. I'll make it happen. That's literally all I trade now for real. I trade New York, but doing New York, I be getting bougie with my entries sometimes. I don't be rushing nothing, forcing nothing. Unless it's my 1 minute cross that I've been teaching y'all. That 1 minute cross be butter. It's like I could take that one and just be like full port if I want to. But all right, y'all. I'm not gonna hold y'all too long. So video out. Well, this is public to YouTube anyway. So the live, once the live in, y'all can rewatch it. But it is gonna be on your side of course as well. And then besides that, I'll catch y'all Tuesday. I might, you know what? I'm not gonna say that. We're gonna do the poll, and y'all vote. Y'all let me know what days y'all want, and then we'll go from there. I'm gonna literally put every day of the week on there. Whichever one y'all pick, and then I'll know. I ain't gonna tell y'all when. I'm gonna just let y'all do it. But all right, right now. Peace out. Shout out to everybody that joined the live. This is actually, dang, that's crazy. This is actually the last live for Sunday, for the week, well, for the month of October. Because literally, this is the last week of me going live for the month of October. This is the last week I'm gonna be busy. Be traveling and stuff, so I'm gonna be out. But November we will be back with our regular schedule programming. Unless I actually, know what? November I might do some Tokyo streams instead of New York. That's how I might switch it up. Stay tuned. All right, I'm done rambling. Peace out.